the Blind Pomegranate Tarot. How are you guys today? If you're new here, welcome. I'm not sure how you found me, but I'm glad you're here. And if you're not new here, hello. How have you guys been? I hope you've been great. So we are back to Coffee Talk Tuesdays. I know that you guys really enjoy these, and I've been kind of off for a while, but they're back. So what does that mean for us? For those of you who don't know, I read the Coffe Grounds. This is Armenian coffee. It's something I learned from my great-grandmother. I'm going to drink this coffee down. It's thick and heavy, so I'm going to drink this down. In the bottom are Coffe Grounds. When I'm done, I'm going to turn the cup upside down, spin it 3 times, and then let it sit. And I'm going to teach you how to read the Coffe Grounds using your intuition. So that's part of it. And what else are we doing today? I am going to run through all of, and there's a lot of them, my Oracle and Tarot decks. And I'm going to do this in sections so that it's easy for you. So I'll have timestamps down below. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the decks that I would use for certain types of readings, okay? So that will help you. It's not just about, oh, I have this deck and I have that deck, but how I actually use them. See if that helps you in any way, or if you're just curious. So get yourself a cup of coffee, put your feet up, get a tea, get some wine. I don't judge. Do whatever you got to do, okay? And let's sit back. This is going to take a little while, but I hope it'll be really interesting for you, and you can jump ahead to certain kinds of readings that might interest you more, and then go back again and watch the other ones, okay? So where are we going to start? We are going to start with past lives. Now, for those of you who don't know me, past life regression tarot is something that I specialize in. Don't know why. Spirit just loves to tell me these things, and I really, really enjoy them. I love to tap into the Akashic records and get that information about you and help you to understand who you used to be so you can understand who you are in this life. So I'm going to show you just a couple of the decks that I use for that. I will interchange and mix them up depending on what my download meditation says and what the Spirit guides me to do. But first and foremost, I start with the past life deck. Okay, and this is by Doreen Virtue and Brian. I got to bring it back here, guys. Sorry. Brian Wellis, MD. Okay, so I'm going to open that up and show you. Now, I know a lot of readers will, remove all the decks from their boxes and that sort of thing. I'm not that person because I am very... I have to be really organized. So I keep everything together so I know exactly what I've got. Now these cards have, they're smaller, so I kind of like a smaller deck because they're easier to shuffle out. They have some film around the outside of them, so they're kind of pretty as well. And what they are is they're cards that can be about who you were. They can be about where you come from. Oftentimes I'll use them and just say, okay, well, like this one, ships. Well, it could be that you sailed. It could be that you were a merchant. It could be that you somehow associated with the shipping trade, that sort of thing. Or maybe that you were a traveler. And now all that information will come to me during my downloads of information so that I can sort of associate them to that particular life. Now, when I do a past life reading, like this card, it says farm. Were you a farmer? Did you have something to do with that sort of trade? Did you live in a certain time where farming was very important and you had to struggle to survive by only farming? There was no grocery stores, right? That sort of thing. So it will help me to guide that particular life, and I will do several lives depending on what information I get from my download. I will be told you need to do 3 lives or you need to do 5 lives. And so these are very, very helpful in that way, and so I use them each and every time. So I also use, let's turn that around there, and the right side up, oh boy, Soul's Journey. Now, I really love these cards for a couple of reasons. One, they're very simple life lessons, and 2, it has a direct link to karma, okay? And the karma that you would have had in that past life that maybe you need to deal with in this life. Now, when it comes to past lives, you will have to not only work out your own karma, but sometimes you have to work out the karma of your ancestors. And so if that comes up in a reading, then I will share that with you. But I love these cards because they're so bright and vibrant, okay? And so it tells you, of course, this is orange, so this will say that this is your second chakra, right? Your sacral chakra. And it will give either the message of what you learned, okay, and what you overcame in your karma, or it will give something that you need to still work on in this life to work out this karma. So grief. It could be that, you overcame some great grief and you understood and learned the lessons of grief, or it could be that you still need to learn the lessons of grief. And so that, again, will depend on what information I received and how the cards come out and what Spirit tells me. So friendship, this isn't necessarily that I was a friend to everyone, but it may be a lesson that you learned or still need to learn. So I love these cards. I use them absolutely every single time because karma is a big part of our past life journey and what we needed to learn and what maybe we didn't learn and we need to continue on with. So I will use those every time. Okay, and I will always use maps, sacred maps. Now, I've got a couple of them here. I have Sacred Earth as well, but it is helpful for me to understand where that life was and where you came from and where you were living at the time. This book is lovely in that it gives more descriptive understanding of where that location is, and sometimes that can help to guide me, but usually I will use them only through my intuition and what I'm being told and what I've understood from my meditations. Okay, so they're really beautiful cards. Okay, and again, that will give you some guidance as to maybe what you did in that past life. Okay, so making a choice, maybe that's something that you did in your past life. You had some dramatic choice that you needed to make, and you accomplished that. Or again, like I said, it's something that you need to work on still. Okay, so let's see. This one is having a hard time reading that through the phone there. Oh, okay. Dragon's Lair. Okay, so there are definitions within the book of what that might mean. If I am struggling with understanding why that is an issue or that is a place that would associate, then I will use the book. But generally, again, when I do these, I use absolutely my intuitions and the downloads that I received from my meditations. And the cards themselves are just really beautiful. They're easy to shuffle. They're not too big. They're glossy, so they can be a little bit slippy, but that's, I know a lot of readers sort of complain about that, but it really doesn't bother me one bit or another. Some people like them to be very, very matte, and others like them to be more glossy and more easy to slip around when they're doing their readings. But for me, it really doesn't matter. But the book has a lot of guidance about what these particular places are, so you can jump into that if you need to. And then, it's a heavy deck. And then this is absolutely one of my absolute favorite decks that I have, and it is the Akashic Records. And it is something that I always, always use for past life readings because it has ascended masters, it has angels, it has really information that is gleaned from the Akashic Records themselves, which is where I draw my information from when I do my download meditations for past life readings. So you will find, and now these cards are not quite as shining, they're a little bit more matte, so some people may find them much, much easier to use. Okay, and so there are different sections, scrolls, keys, and that sort of thing. And so you will find ascended masters, you will find kings and queens, you will find angels, Mother Mary is in here, to Archangel Michael. Okay, so you'll find a little bit of everything. And so if you find that there's somebody in here that that you don't recognize, the book is quite thick and will give you the information that you need. You can see here. So it could be keys, it could be scrolls, it could be that you, about the weather, many, many different things. And so the Akashic Records is a vast, vast information about, if you don't know what the Akashic Records are, it is everything that has ever been, it is everything that is current, and it is everything that will ever be. So you can tap into any part of your past life, current life, future life, and even parallel lives. So the Akashic Records it's a deep delve. If you want to go ahead and research the Akashic Records, I can suggest some books for you. But I always use them now. They're very nice cards. Like I said, there's quite a few of them here, okay? But they are more matte than they are glossy. So they're a little bit easier, I think, for some people to use. Again, that doesn't necessarily bother me. So we'll set that aside. But the Akashic Records, if you don't have this deck, I would suggest getting it. It's just a beautiful deck, and it really does. I've had other decks that are Akashic Records decks. This one really resonates for me, and that is something that is important to any reader. So if you get a deck that you don't resonate with, and I've had that happen to me, and I've tried real hard with decks that I've purchased and thought, why can't I connect? Why can't I connect? And sometimes I will ask the deck itself, why am I not connecting to you? And a card will come out and just say, yeah, basically tell me this is not the one for you. Okay, so I end up I will give them away, and I hope that they will work for somebody else or they didn't work for me. But before I purchase a deck, I always do a little meditation. Is this the right one for me? And it's always the ones that I don't do that for that I end up getting, and because I was suggested them by somebody else, and it didn't really work out for me. So, and lastly, this is the Earth Power. Okay, so it's another map book about the earth, of course, because we're living in the earthly life right now, right? And that's what we're working on when we do a past life reading. Now, these cards are large, okay? You can see how big they are, so they can be a little bit of a struggle, especially for somebody. My hands are wide, but they are not long, and I have little short fingers, so this one can be a little bit more difficult to shuffle out. You can see they go from one end to the other when I'm trying to shuffle these out, so I do have troubles with them sometimes, but I really do like this deck. I think that the cards are really beautiful. They're a little bit more slippery than matte, but they are absolute locations on Earth, and each one of those locations have meanings. So the book is very helpful if you are looking to go very much into the depth of the location that you receive. The book is very helpful in that way. I am, again, an intuitive reader. Sometimes I will break the book open because if I have questions, and I will say, okay, I need to learn a little bit more about this particular location because I'm not quite getting all the information that I need. And sometimes popping into the book will help me to push it to just that one place that I was looking for, that one question that I had. So magnetic South Pole. Okay, so it really is just about, taps into just about every location in the world. And a lot of times that can tell you where someone, if the other cards are aligning with it, it can tell you where it's possible that they came from, your past life, where you used to be at. And just the information of that can help you quite a bit to understand who you are now. You may have this really strong attachment to Asia, right? You're like, I just love Asian, everything about Asia. I love the people, I love the land, I love the history, and you don't know why, okay? And then you'll get your past life reading, you'll be like, okay, that's why, because I lived a life there, and it meant something to me, and it was great for me, and I learned a lot in that lifetime, and that's why I resonate so closely with it. So those are the cards that I always use for my past life readings, and on occasion I will add in others depending upon what I'm being told during my meditation. Now, when I do a past life reading, oh boy, do they give me a lot of directions. So that's good. That's good. They will tell me how many lives I should go back, when I do a past life reading, it's not necessarily in order, 5 lives back, okay? It could be one life, there was 2 or 3 in between, and then pull for that second one, could be the 3rd or 4th life, okay? So it's not always just a complete succession. Sometimes they go very far back. I've had them very far back, okay? We're talking ancient Aztecs and that sort of thing, so I have had that happen before. So that's why I really love it so much, because I can really tap into and even sometimes speak to you in your past life, which is very cool. So I'm going to start drinking the coffee. I'm going to put timestamps down below as well for when we turn the coffee cup over. So if you want to just leap to that instead of sitting here watching me sip some coffee for a while. So you can see that that's thick right down in there. I'm going to have a little bit more of that before we get on with it. Okay, so I'm going to go from this, and we will talk next about when I do readings for the Divine Feminine. We'll move on to that one next. Okay, be right back. Okay, let's talk about the Divine Feminine. I'm going to finish this off real quick and turn it upside down, then we can get started with that. Do you see all that? Armenian coffee is very finely ground, and it's done on the stovetop. So you will get lots of coffee grounds, and this is what my great-grandmother used to do for us every Sunday. So I'm going to turn this 3 times clockwise, and then we're going to let it sit. Okay, and then when we come back, we're going to read the coffee grounds together, and you're going to use your intuition to tell me what you see. I'll show you that when we get to it. So we're going to let that sit. Okay, you may have seen this one before. This is a tarot deck, and it's by Deborah Blake, and it is the Witch's deck. Running out of space here. So I don't pull this deck out very often. I do like it. It's very sweet, and the cards are really pretty, and they tell a great story. So if you're looking for a starter deck, I think that this is an excellent one, because sometimes the original Rider-Waite can be a little confusing at first, especially if you're just starting out. The book is wonderful. The explanations are great. Her way of telling the story of what they are is wonderful. The actual pictures that are done on here are absolutely beautiful and easy to interpret and understand. So it's a beautiful way to sort of get started, especially if you're one of my witchy friends who wants to get into tarot. This is a beautiful deck to start with. So I really enjoy it a lot. The book is nice and big, lots of information. Like I said, the illustration is really beautiful. The box is really great. It's a great big box, and it has a magnetic closure on it. You know, it may be, some people may be, well, that's a lot of box to have to store, but it really is beautiful, and it will last you a long time. So let's get to the cards themselves, shall we? Again, the cards are really pretty. They're bright and they're vibrant and they're easy to read. And I enjoy it a lot, and I will pull them out on occasion, because it depends on what type of reading I'm doing. If I'm doing a more feminine reading, if I'm doing even a witchy reading, right? If I'm doing something that I really want that feeling of feminine, I really want to tap into that feeling of feminine. Now, of course, we all have masculine and feminine within us. But when I'm specifically doing a divine feminine reading, and I'm looking for something with a little bit more color and sort of a fun type reading, I will definitely go with these cards. And I think that they're really beautiful, and the illustrations are really beautiful, and they're very feminine positive. So that's why I will use them. The cards are a good size. There's plenty of slip to them. They're easy to use, and they're pretty sturdy. So I've never had trouble with cards that sort of like fall apart on me because they get bent up or used too much and the paper is too thin. The paper on this is really nice. And I think that this is just a very popular deck. So if you'd like to get it, I would suggest it, especially if you're kind of starting out. It's a wonderful deck to start with. And it's wrapped, it's produced really beautifully, and I really enjoy it, even if I don't use it all that much. So there's that one. And again, like I said, the book is really great too. So it has a lot of information. It has her own sort of unique way of seeing it, which is important. You know, not all tarot decks and oracle decks have to say the same thing over and over and over again. It's part of the uniqueness of these authors is the beautiful different ways that they do their decks. So this is probably one of my absolute all-time favorite decks, and I don't know what it is about it particularly, other than of course the illustration is absolutely gorgeous. But there is something that resonates for me in this deck. Okay, the Witch's Kitchen. I think probably because I'm a kitchen witch, definitely a green witch, that really, really speaks to me. It's done by Barbara. Oh my goodness, her name. Barbara Melkajit. Okay, I'm not even going to try it. I ain't even going to try it. I'm just going to leave it right there. Okay, you can check her out. I just love this deck. Now, I'll show it to you. The book is lovely, but for me, the imagery and what she has written on them is enough for me. You can see that they're gilded on the side. And the cards are just beautiful. And there's just something about it. Like I said, you have to find one that resonates for you, okay? You have to find one that really tells the story to you, that really sort of hits home for you, okay? So, Echinacea. Okay, focus camera. There you go. And then, of course, down at the bottom, we'll tell you more about it. Now, the book will tell you a little bit more about the plant itself, about the magical uses of the plant. And so that's beautiful as well. But there's something about this deck that just resonates for me. So I use it quite a bit. In all kinds of different kinds of readings, not just necessarily that I do it with when I'm tapping into more of my witchy side, right? But I just really enjoy it a lot. So we have pepper here, right? Ferocity. It's just beautiful. These cards are just lovely, and the imagery on it is so beautiful. And nutmeg, and we have lavender. So there's so many here. Let's see how many are in this deck. I'm not sure. See if we can find it on here. I would guess there's about 70 cards in here. Maybe it's a 72 deck. I don't see it right now, but there's quite a few. There's a lot of information. The book is helpful, but not necessary. As I said, I use it all the time, and I don't very often go into the book. But if you find that you want to get this deck and you want to incorporate it into your kitchen witchery practice, I think it's a beautiful deck for that, because tarot and oracle cards don't always have to be about doing readings for other people. This is definitely something you can get for yourself, and it can even be a teaching and a lesson, a beautiful way to learn lessons about different herbs and how they're used and how they were used in the ancients, and of course with the earth, air, fire, and water, and how you can use them that way. And even how you can use them in spell casting and that sort of thing, if that's what you do. Okay, so this one, really, this is probably in my top 5, this one. I really enjoyed this. And I haven't had it very long, but I have loved every minute of it. I think it's worked out so well for me. And I can use this not just when I'm doing divine feminine type work, but I will also use it even in love readings and that sort of thing, which, if you know me, I don't do those very often, but we'll get to that part. Okay. And so this is also an absolutely gorgeous deck, okay? I am so happy that I got it. You see it there. It's the Hedge Witch. I love it. So it's a botanical deck. It's not vibrant in colors or anything like that, but the book is outstanding. And I say that because the book will tell you about the herb, about the mythology, about even when and what time of year is best to plant, when it is best to harvest. It will tell you under what moon cycle to do it in. It just is beautiful. It will give you the Latin terms for the plants and how to use them. So it's, again, it's not just about being a tarot book, but it's a lesson book, and it's a lesson deck, and it's a deck that you can use in your practice, in your everyday practice, not just in tarot practice. But I will show you some of the cards here. And again, it comes in a really beautiful book case with a magnetic closure. There's not a lot of cards, but it's very, very informational, and I think that you would really, really enjoy this deck. I'm very much enjoying this, and in fact, we're going to be working with this week on our pick-a-cards. So they're very light in color. There's not a lot of definition, but it is a very accurate interpretation of what the plant looks like. Okay, so that's helpful for you as well. But again, it has the name of it, and then it has the Latin name and what it's used for. Okay, so it has the magical uses, it has the therapeutic uses, and all of those things are within the book as well. So they are just beautiful cards. They're very simple, very lightweight, very easy to use, and very easy to read. And again, they have such a beautiful, accurate, okay, which I find very important, accurate depiction of what the plant is, okay, and how you can use them and what's the best way to use them in many different ways. It doesn't have to just be about magic, but it can be about the herbal uses of, there's like aconition here, and just all kinds of other herbs that can help you to sort of incorporate them into teas and that sort of thing. If you're feeling like you need a little nurturing, okay? If you need a little nurturing, then you can go with clover. Either keep that in your home, if you can. I think that clover is something that you can put into a tea, but don't quote me on that. Read the book, look into it. Okay, so they're really just amazingly beautiful cards, and they're beautifully put together, and that's why I really enjoy it. Again, these are matte finish, so they're easy to this one is Tenacity Burdock. So, you know, if it's something that you're looking for, if it's something that you're trying to incorporate into your life, that sort of thing. So these may actually just be cards that you pick one a day and you try and incorporate it into a meal, or you try and incorporate it into your tea or into your daily practice, or put some on your altar, that sort of thing. So I really enjoyed this one a lot too. So maybe look into it. I'm not suggesting that anybody run out and buy any of these things. These are just things for you to look into and see if they resonate for you, because it's important. It's very important that when you find a deck, whether it be an oracle or whether it be a tarot deck, that it's something that you resonate with. So maybe even meditate on it before you buy it. But that's a beautiful one. I love that. Just something to look at, okay? Now, this deck, very, very unusual. I don't know any other tarot readers who use this deck. I found this and it just struck me so hard, because I love to read, I love history, I love literature, and I more specifically love female artists, okay, female writers. So this is the Literary Witch, okay? And so in this, again, it's a beautiful box. It's a hardcover box. It's sort of textured, and so are the cards. And I'll show you the book. The book is very simple, and the cards are very simple, but the beauty of it is that the cards will tell you about these individual authors and how amazing they are, and their stories, and some of them are just very incredible women that did incredible things, okay? So you will have, here we have, let's see, this is What's this? Okay. This one is mushroom. So what will happen is you will have an author card, okay? And then you will have a card that could be associated with how she did her witchery, right? So her tools of witchery, right? So let me find you an author card here. And they're all very different, these authors. And so the information about them is just very fascinating. So you may find an author that you really resonate with, and then you go along and you buy her book, and you really start to learn more about her. And so in that way, it's a beautiful way to not just expand your practice, right? So here's snail. That's another sort of a tool of the trade, right? That you will find that you learn something new about a new author, and you're just amazed by her, and you really get to know her. So like here we have Virginia Woolf. Okay, Virginia Woolf's story is remarkable. She did end up taking her own life in the end, but she was a lesbian. She was strong-minded, strong-willed, and an amazing author. Just to get to know her, just to learn some of her story is just beautiful. So if you don't know about Virginia Woolf, I would definitely look into her. Shirley Jackson. And it will tell you down at the bottom of the cards a little bit about the author, like how you would perceive her, how you would maybe a very simple statement of who she is. But if you go into the book, and I'll show you the book here. If you go into the book and you read about her, specifically about the authors. So the beginning of the book is the authors themselves, okay? And you can read a little bit about each one of them. And they're really, really unique women. They're very, very strong women. They're very, very independent women who sort of changed society and changed society's ways of thinking of women. And there are women of all different kinds, African, Native American, Latin American, from all over the world, really, Asian Americans. And they're just absolutely beautiful, wonderful stories. And it can help you to sort of get into authors, beautiful authors, wonderful authors that maybe you didn't know anything about, and really get to understand their stories. And some of them are just incredibly interesting, funny women who lived really, colorful lives. But at the same time, a lot of them, because some of these authors, most of these authors have long since passed, sort of had to write and work within the confines of the time that they lived. And so a couple of them actually wrote under male names, which is sad, but that's how they had to write. And so you'll learn about that part of their story as well. I really, really enjoy this deck. And I suggest it to a lot of people. It's not an inexpensive deck. Okay, I think I probably paid close to $40 for it. So it's probably one of the more expensive ones I've ever bought. But it sang to me. So if you want to check her out, check out this book. I think it's beautiful. Again, the cards are matte, and they're even a little bit textured. I don't know if you can hear that. So they're all textured, but really beautiful. It's a large deck, again, because it's not just the authors, it's about the tools of the trade that the writer associates to each individual author, but they don't have to come out together. So that's really a beautiful deck. I love this one very, 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 very much. And so it is Literary Witches. I love that one. And again, oftentimes I'm not afraid to spend a little bit more money if I know that the packaging and the decks and what they represent and the information that they hold is well worth it, and will last me a very long time. So there's that one. And then we have, this is, am I getting it in? There we go. This is Sacred Mothers. and goddesses. So I always break this one out when I am doing a divine feminine reading, which I did just a couple of weeks ago. We did focused heavily on the divine feminine. Again, these cards are quite large, but the artwork is amazing to me. I love it because I love the sort of abstract artwork that's done to it. The book goes into depth about each one. Here, of course, we have Mother Mary. Okay, the numbers are there as well, if that helps. We have Asian. We have Hera, right? Greek. We have really goddesses from all over. Now, of course, are these all the goddesses? No, because that deck would be unusable because it would be so large. But you will get some from each region of the world, okay? From Africa, South America, Asia, Europe, everywhere, okay? And Native American as well. And we have Athena. But you can see how beautiful these cards are. And I think that's what really drove me to them. I have a vision impairment, for those of you who don't know. So bright, vibrant decks mean a lot to me. And it really resonates beautifully for me. I really need that and enjoy that. So if you're unfamiliar with that particular goddess, if you're looking for your own particular goddess and you haven't quite figured that out yet, a deck like this might help you because there's quite a bit of information within the book that will tell you about each one. And yeah, I mean, look at the design, and it's just beautiful. So I appreciate that very much in a deck. I look for that when I am looking for an oracle deck. I really enjoy that vibrancy because it sort of matches my energy when I'm doing a reading. So again, the book is lovely. It has quite a bit of information about each one. And if you are, like I said, looking for your goddess and you're looking for some guidance in trying to find her, you know what? This is not a bad way to go about it, is to get yourself an oracle deck and really start learning about them and really start understanding who they are and see if one of them pops out for you and resonates for you. And if you find yourself that you are done with it, then go ahead and pass it on to somebody else who's looking too, okay? I love that one. That one's a good one. I use that one a lot. Interestingly, I will use that one as well when I am doing past life regression sometimes, if I need that information, okay? And then, of course, we have the divine. So, divine, it's got some suction on there. This one I use, of course, every single time, okay? So this is the Divine Mother, Divine Women, and it is specific to that. There are no angels or anything like that. It's Divine Women. And I will use this deck every time as well. Now, the book is quite thick, so there's a lot of information there. They will give you a lot of guidance as to who they are and what they specifically sort of rule over in their own countries and the places that they come from. But I said this during my during the week that we were doing the Divine Mother readings, and of course our pick a card. Do not limit yourself to a certain part of the world. Just because you happen to be Gaelic now doesn't mean that you weren't Hindi in your last life, okay? So open yourself up to all of the goddesses because they all have something different to tell you, and you may find that your goddess actually comes out of Africa, or you may find that your goddess actually comes from South America and you live in Norway, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But it does, because it may have been something you did in last life, in a previous life, one that you connected highly with, and she wants to reconnect with you, okay? So again, the cards are really beautiful. There's quite a bit of information in here. There's quite a few cards. There's quite a few deities in here. The cards are beautiful. I resonate with this very well. Not so much as I do with the previous deck, but I do love the sort of very human-like photographs here, because I think they might actually be photographs and not necessarily drawings. So you'll get quite a bit of information from this deck as well. So if this one resonates more for you than the other one, then maybe look into this one. This is really a good way, not just to have an oracle deck that you can do a tarot reading with and find your goddess for somebody else, but for yourself. And it's a great way to do a little research and have her with you all the time. And oftentimes you'll find that as you progress in your spiritual growth, that you will find that you need to incorporate some more goddesses, or you may need to move on to a different goddess because you've learned so much from the one and there's others that have something to tell you. So don't limit yourself, okay? There's no reason to say, I only have the one, okay? We can have many, 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 okay, that associate to different parts of our lives and different parts of who we actually are. It's very important. So the book, again, it's thick, has lots of information. It's a beautiful deck, easy to use. It's matte, okay? It's a little bit larger, but I think that's great because it gives you some more space to really look into the images, okay? And glean from that if you're doing a reading. So I enjoy that one a lot. And I always use her. So now I will use other decks and stuff for my Divine Feminine readings, but those are the basics, okay? So where should we go next? Let's go to astrology. I will never ever say I am an astrologer, okay, in any way, shape, or form, but I do use astrological decks. I have just a few of them, and we'll do that next, okay? Be right back. Coffee has been sitting here long enough, so let's do that, okay? Again, timestamps will be down below so you can block these out and see which ones you want to go to and view first, okay? So, again, if you're just jumping in right now, I was taught this by my great-grandmother, and this is a way to read the Coffe Grounds. She was a psychic. She used cards, playing cards as tarot cards, so she did that as well. And she did predictions very clearly. So this is where I learned this from. It's an old Armenian thing. Lots and lots of women know how to do this who are Armenian women. But my family's a little different and they're a little bit gypsy. So that's how I learned how to do it. And we started drinking this when I was only 5 years old. So I actually should have been 6 feet tall as opposed to 5'7 3/4. But so we have let this sit here. What I'm going to do, what I'm going to ask you to do, and I do this every single time, is I'm going to ask you to do a brief breathing meditation with me. Okay, we're just going to breathe in once or twice and that's it. But what I ask you to do is put your feet flat on the floor, put your hands in your laps with your palms up. What this is going to do is root you to the earth and open you to the universe. Then I'm asking you to close your eyes. We're going to take a deep breath in for 4. We're going to hold it for 2. And we're going to push it out our mouths as fast as we can for 5, like blowing through a straw. What that's going to do is that's going to open you up, let you sit back into your intuition so that when I turn the cup over, you can see the story that's within. And it's different for everybody. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what you see, because it's very, very interesting to me. Sometimes it's completely different than what I'm seeing. Lots of times it's completely different than what I'm seeing. And there's nothing wrong with that, because this is about using your intuition to hear what your guides want to tell you through the grounds, okay? So let's start. Feet on the floor, hands in your laps with your palms up, and we'll begin. Okay, now when I turn this over, do not question it. What you see, what you hear, what you feel is correct. Okay? So go with that. Let that message sink into you and take it with you today and see if that comes into your life in some way. Okay? Are you ready? Ooh, okay. So what I'll do is I'll turn it all the way around here so you can see it all. And we'll look at the saucer too. It's not normally something we do, but sometimes it helps. We'll look at the saucer as well and see if that has more additional information for you. I'll go slowly. Remember, don't question it. Go with what you see, what you hear, what you feel. If you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, what are you hearing when you see this? It is a wonderful way to practice your intuition. A lot of times, some people will do this with tea leaves, and I've done a pick a card. Oh, actually, I think it was a spiritual brew coffee talk day where we use tea leaves as well. So that's a great way of doing it. If you want to go back and look at that one, it's in the spiritual brew playlist, and you can see them all and give it a practice. It's very interesting. Okay, so I will tell you tomorrow. I will come back in here and I will put down what I saw, and I want to know what you saw. There's the saucer. What you saw, what you felt, what you heard, okay? Don't question it. Go with it. That's the whole point of listening to your intuition. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, it's very interesting. Okay. So I have been doing this for a long time, but I really want to know what you see. I really want to know what you feel and you think that says to you. Okay. Go ahead and pause it if you need to. I'm going to put this aside so we can get over here and get into my astrological decks. Now, I do not have that many of them. It's not something that I do very often. It's not something that I jump into very often. I am not an astrologer, and I don't know enough about it right now. Of course, I do know about it, but not in depth as some really amazing people out there that can do it. This is Moonology. I think everybody knows Moonology. It is a wonderful deck to start with if you're looking to get into it. If you're looking to get into oracle cards, if you're looking to just sort of start by trying to figure out your intuitions, Moonology is beautiful. And I always use it. I will also use this when I do Divine Feminine, because of course the moon is the Divine Feminine. She is the mother, right? So the book, I'll be honest with you, I don't use the book much. I find that it's not necessary, but when you first get it, if you'd like to flip through it, if you'd like to read through it and see what the book has to add to it, I don't. Now, I am an intuitive reader, so it's not something that I generally do, but there is quite a bit of information in here in this little tiny book, so go for it if you need to, okay? Now, it's really a beautiful deck. It's matte. It's a good size. It's not too big. It's not too little. And of course, it has the moon phases, and it has the astrological signs sometimes that go with it. It has the meanings behind the moon phases at that particular time of year. So that's lovely. I'm going to move this light out because I think it's blurring that a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. So, Moonology, a beautiful deck. I don't jump to it a lot, but I do really, really enjoy it. And a lot of people do, because it really does have an amazing vibration to it. Okay. And you'll probably really enjoy it as well, especially if you're just starting out and you want to. I would suggest this deck if you have never bought an oracle deck before. Start here. Okay. If this is what you're looking for, sort of some divine guidance from the moon, is the Moonology deck. Very, very popular. Really a beautiful deck. Very nice to shuffle out. It's just about the right size. It's matte, and the cards are pretty thick, right? So you won't have to worry about bending and that sort of thing. So, Moonology. I will break that out if I am doing a reading that has an astrological tint to it. I never do astrology pulls, readings just for astrology, because I am not that versed in it, and I don't want to tell you the wrong information. And so the crystal book, I do like this deck. Okay, I do like this deck a lot. I am looking for another one because although this has a great deal of information about crystals, okay, it doesn't quite have the information that associates to astrological signs, what crystals are good for, that time of month, about the planets' alignments, and about any kind of retrogrades and that sort of thing. So I'm looking for something with a little bit more in depth. However, I do like this one quite a bit. The book is good. The book has a lot of information about those sorts of things, but I like them to be on the cards themselves a little bit more, so that I have that information sort of at my fingertips. But the book does have quite a bit of information in it, so you can't really go wrong with this, okay? Again, it's a lovely box with a magnetic closure, so I really enjoy that because I don't have to worry about it getting messy. I like to be very organized in my things. Now, the only thing that I don't like about it, there's no insert for the cards, so the cards just really slide around within the book, or within the box, excuse me, because the book fits the box, but the cards do not, as you can see. So it will slide about, but that's just personal preference. It really doesn't have anything to do with anything. But the cards are really beautiful because they are pictures. They are pictures of the actual stones themselves. And, you know, that is beautiful. So we have here lapis lazuli, past life, as we were just talking about past lives. Lapis lazuli is one of my absolute favorite stones. If you don't have any, I would suggest getting some. It really is a beautiful stone to keep on hand. And we have here, there we go, gratitude. Okay, gratitude. So Hiddenite. This is what I like about these cards, is the beautiful photography on it, the beautiful cards themselves. They're a little bit glossier, but it kind of narrows down what the crystal is about. Now, at the same time, you may look up Hiddenite and find that gratitude doesn't show up anywhere. So this deck does take a little bit of its own personal decision making as to what the stones are, okay? And sometimes that might not resonate. But if I'm using it solely as a card for a reading, okay, and it associates to the reading, like past Thursday I did a reading where we were talking to spirit animals, and I used these crystal cards, and I was stunned when one of the cards came out. If you want to go back and watch it, it was the very first, it was group 1, and I was like, I couldn't talk. It really, really shocked me. So in that sense, these cards can and have in the past, they've shocked me before, and is why I keep using them, because there's something about them that when I pull them out for a certain reading, because they're so simplistic, because they're so direct, and that's why I don't go to the book, it can just fit into that reading so much, it just shocks me, which is what happened on our last reading for the spirit animals. And in fact, this was the card. I did a short video of when it came out, and my sort of shock and surprise. I was like, oh my God, because it fell right in line with the reading itself. In fact, that pile had black tourmaline on it, and then I flipped this over and it was black tourmaline, and I was talking heavily about protection for that group 1. So insofar as that is concerned, that's why I continue to use these, because they seem to be able to tune into a reading crystal clear. Okay, no pun intended. Okay, and just really are amazing to me, these cards. So that's why I continue to use them. Blue kyanite, that was also I guess I didn't shuffle these out from the last time, which is good because I was talking about this with you guys. But which is good. This is why I continue to use them. I would get another crystal deck with a little bit more information on the face of the card, solely to add to my repertoire, solely to add to my repertoire. I would not put these aside for another crystal deck. So that's lovely as well. And if you are just looking to understand crystals, if you're looking to get more in depth into crystals, the book is excellent for that. So if you're just looking for it for yourself, that's a great way to go about it. Okay, and then we have, let me just move that out of the way. Sorry, guys. This is the Black Moon Astrology deck. Now, there is something about this deck. There's something about this, and I haven't figured it out yet, that hits me right in the heart. I love this deck, and I'm not sure why. I wish I could explain it to you, but it means it resonates so strongly with me, and I haven't figured out why yet. I think because it just reads to me the way that I can understand it, the way that I can relate to it. And so I will use these quite a bit. I use them quite a bit, actually. And I probably use them in readings I shouldn't, just because I love them so much. I'm like, maybe I didn't need to throw that black moon in there, but I just love these so much. Okay, so they've got, of course, Cancer, right, and Libras and Taurus and all that, but they also have Mars. And so the information that you get from this deck is not just about your astrological signs, but it is also about, here's Aries, 19, but it is also about any kind of retrogrades, about the planets, about how they associate to each other. And the book goes greatly, greatly into depth. Again, if you are looking to learn more about astrology, the book is lovely for that. Okay, so I would recommend it to you. But it has, I wish I could explain it to you guys, that this just meets up with my soul, this book. This deck just works for me. And it doesn't just have the phases and, you know, what time of year and how they work together and what they mean for each other. It's just so detailed. At the same time, if I'm quickly doing a reading and I just need the card to tell me what's going on, it does that as well. Okay, so they're just lovely cards. They're a little bit larger again, so me and my small hands, it can be a little bit more difficult, but they're not slippery, so that's good. They're definitely a full matte finish, so I like that as well. And they're a good sturdy card. But there is something about these cards that just works for me. I just love them. So keep an eye out for those. More and more in my my readings. They'll pop up in the strangest places, just because when I am pulling decks, I see it every now and then. I'm just like, I'm using it. I don't care, because I know that that's right for this, and it feels good, and I want to use it. So, Black Moon Astrology. I just really love this one. Really resonate with that one. Okay, and then we have, like I said, I only have a very few. And this one is also the numbers astrology deck. Okay, and it is just what it says. Okay, so it is what it says. Now, I have not used this one very much, but it's separated into two separate areas here. Let me try and get them all out of there. I don't know if I have it currently separated out right now. Probably should have looked at that before I started this, right? But yeah. So this, if you are more inclined to, or if you have a greater understanding of astrology, this deck would be for you, because it talks about trines, it talks about squares, it talks about all of those things that it talks about the north nodes and all the nodes, of course. And so again, if you are more in tune to that, if you are more educated about that, then this will work for you. And it talks about the different stars, right? Chiron. It talks about all of the planets, of course, and phases and everything in between. So this is actually a fully encompassing numbers astrology deck, and it really focuses on the numbers themselves. Okay, and so this is more, it's astrology with sort of a sacred geometry glint to it, okay, side to it. Okay, so there's quite a bit to this. So this can be a little bit complicated. I will use it on occasion if I'm really looking for some detailed information about what's happening within astrology at that time. If we're going through something very unique, if we're going through not just new moons or full moons, but eclipses and that sort of thing, I will bring them out for that. Right now, Lionsgate is open, so I would bring them out for that. And so this is a very much more in-depth version of an astrology deck because it sort of also incorporates sacred geometry. Now, having said that, I am very much looking forward to finding myself a sacred geometry deck because it does fascinate me. And I do resonate with numbers, especially angel numbers and that sort of thing. So I am looking for a sacred geometry deck right now. It's been a little bit of a struggle to try and find one, but I'll get there. I will get there. Okay, so if you want to give that one a whirl, I don't remember how much this one cost, but it is much more in depth. If you are someone who is well versed on astrology and you are a tarot reader, or if you want to use it just as practice and better understanding, it's a great deck for that. So it's numerology and astrology. So it meets up with those two things. Speaking of angels, we'll go to that next. Talk about angels. Now, when I use angel decks, okay, when I am talking to the angels, I'm asking for advice. Okay, I'm asking for advice every time I talk to the angels. So most of these is asking about wisdom that the angels would like to share with us, what they want us to know, what they want us to pay attention to. Okay, so it's kind of an eclectic group that I have here. Okay, but this one, ancestors and angels. Okay, so I will use this one if I'm talking to ancestors or if I'm talking to angels. Okay, but you know what? They all come from the same place, right? They all come from spirit, and they all have information to share with us. The book I don't crack open very often unless I have questions about a specific angel I have not heard about before. Again, I'm an intuitive reader, but can be information in there if you absolutely need to have that. Okay, so in this book, again, ancestors, which could be considered as ascended masters and that sort of thing. Like here we have the peacekeeper. Okay, so the peacekeeper, not an angel, an ancestor. Okay, but I will talk to them anyway, because when I speak to the angels, when I ask for angel guidance, you know, it's always asking for help. That's what they're there for, right? We have the warrior. Okay, also an ancestor, ascended master. Okay, let's see if we can find us a. This is the medicine mother. Very much. Oh, I did use these in the Divine Feminine readings when I did that as well, because there's quite a few in there. There is, of course, Divine Masculine in here as well, for sure. Okay, so I will use these cards as well. Now, I like these cards because they are very much almost photographic. Okay, they almost look like pictures as opposed to paintings. I think they might even be so. Or drawings or anything like that. So, but they're just very beautiful. And I like them front and back as well. The back is very cool. That very much resonates with me because it's an owl on a compass. And the compass is really my sign. So, beautiful deck, ancestors and angels. I use it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I use it to ask for guidance. I use it to ask for advice. Now the cards move very easily. They're more matte. They're a little bit larger, but they're not too terrible, not too hard for me to shuffle out. So I enjoy them very much, and I use them quite a bit. So if you would like to try that, Angels and Ancestors. Now, I had a difficult time finding a book that was just or a deck that was just Ancestors. So Angels and Ancestors is the route I went, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did, because I really am enjoying this one quite a bit. And I think there's probably quite a few people who have this one. But it's a lovely deck. Okay, moving on. This is an actual angel deck. Now, if you are looking for detailed information about an angel, okay, and I do mean detailed, and I'll show you in just a minute here. I'm not a fan of the packaging of this, okay, but the cards themselves are pretty amazing. The packaging is flimsy. I'm not wild about that. But the cards themselves are about as detailed as you get. You can see how many there are. These are only angels, okay? And so what you will get, and it's a very little book. I don't even think I've read through this book, because the cards themselves are so incredibly detailed. Okay, so for each card, you will get the human distortion, okay, and you will get the actual angel themselves. So it's sort of I don't want to see positive and negative about an angel, but it has how humanity can distort what the angel's real purpose is, okay? And we see that daily, right? And those who proclaim to be religious can distort. Okay, so it's more about keeping an eye out for that sort of behavior. Okay, but there are so many here. Let me read the box here. I can't remember. There's quite a few in here, and there's of course many more. But yeah, there's 72 in here. Angel cards, dreams, signs, and meditations. So if you're curious, who is my angel? This is an excellent way to figure that out. The thing I love about oracle cards is it's not just about doing a tarot reading or doing an oracle reading, but it's about learning. And this deck will learn you some stuff, okay? This deck goes in depth about each one of these angels. And it goes in depth about the human, here, let me show you the back side of the human distortion of how they can be distorted and what to avoid, okay? And how it can be distorted in your own life, okay, if you choose to follow that angel. So what I would suggest, what I always suggest, is that you read both sides, because there is information there that you really need to know if you want to really know that particular angel, okay? Because all angels have their not dark side, but they have their wrath, okay? And as with many gods and goddesses as well, that if you are disrespectful, okay, that can be a negative outcome for you. So I really enjoy this. I have not gotten through all of them, because look at how much information is here. It's just incredible. So although I'm not a fan of the packaging for these, because they really are hard to get back into the box, and the booklet you don't necessarily need, because there's so much information here. It is an excellent way to get to learn about angels and get to know about angels, and maybe find one that resonates with you that you can incorporate into your meditations or prayers. So I always use this one. It's beautiful in that it has so much information, okay? And so that can be very, 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 very helpful, especially if you're doing an angelic reading, or if you've done an angelic download meditation, as I do, to get answers, to get help, to get support. I've had meditations where I've done download meditations and asked for angels to come in, and they have told me, we are here to pick you up when you fall down, and we are here when you need us. Ask for us. They were very specific angels, and that may have been just specific to me. So it's important to understand who your angels are. And this deck is probably a very good way of doing that, to really understand, because you can go on Google and Google all day long if you want to get into that. Okay. But if you find one in here that sounds important to you and resonates to you, then you can then take it to the internet and find out even more about it, and how they resonate within particular kinds of religions, because all religions have angels in them in some form. Okay, they may not call them angels, but they all do. Okay, this is an archetype deck. Now, archetype is a phrase that was coined by Carl Jung, the very famous pioneer in psychiatry. And he coined the term, and it's used even today within psychiatry. He coined the term to describe what his patients were seeing and give definition to those thoughts. Okay, and that he was sort of ahead of his time in knowing that just because somebody is speaking or hearing voices, okay, it's not always mental illness, okay? Sometimes it actually is spirit talking to them, knowledge that they are receiving. And he actually understood that, and then put the title archetype to it. And then archetype was given names for each one of these sort of beliefs, thoughts, ways of being. Yeah, so that's what this is. Now I have two archetype decks. I'll show you the other one in a minute. And archetype decks really are up to the interpreter of the deck, okay? Because an archetype is something that is a created description. It's not necessary. It's not something. There's no archetype dictionary that you have to go by, okay? So it's a created description of events that are happening to you or for you or with you, that sort of thing. Okay, so femme fatale. Okay, this may be associated to somebody who is good or bad. Okay, because there are light and dark attributes on these cards. So they're pretty. I like them. It's not my favorite archetype deck. I'll show you the next one in a minute. I do use them. I use them rarely, but I always do use them because they can give me definitions of things that I'm seeing or feeling or thoughts that are popping in. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And an archetype card can help me to define that. Okay, so you may have something going on in your life and you say, well, what does this mean? What is this? I don't understand what this is. And an archetype, associating it to an archetype or giving it a title or description may actually help you. And these kind of decks can help to guide you that way as well. So there is quite a bit of information here. These decks can be read upside in reverse. Normally, I do not read oracle cards in reverse, but sometimes some oracle cards will have reversals, and it's not a shock that an archetype deck has reversals, because it can mean two different things, right? Like a teddy bear can be, oh, it's so sweet, and a teddy bear can rip your face off, okay? So they can be both things. So that's why it's not surprising that an archetype deck, it can be read in reverse, okay? Trickster. Okay, so they are definitions of events, people, feelings, thoughts, emotions, and that sort of thing. And if you want to look more into that, you can look up Carl Jung and archetypes. Very interesting that the science and the spirituality came together with him, and he understood it and defined it, and it is used even today in universities all over the world. So that's very cool. So I will use that. And then we have here, okay, so these two decks I will use for advice. And like I said, I use angel decks as advice. Okay, so energy, wisdom. Let's start with energy. I think a lot of people have these two decks. I like this if I am looking for the general energy of a situation when I am doing a reading. The book is very detailed. There's lots there to read about. So if you're ever confused about it or want to understand what the energy is that you're reading and the card that came out, then, you know, go ahead and pop into the book. But again, I am an intuitive reader, so I go with what's feeling right for me and what I'm being told by spirit. So, but it's there for you. It's there for you. It's a detailed book, and it can help you quite a bit. The cards are easy to shuffle. They are a little bit larger, but that's okay. And they are not quite matte, but they are smooth. Okay, so what do we have here? Thought I'd just go ahead and pull you one right away, right? Ah, deceit. So there's a little bit of everything in all of these decks. Oracle decks, tarot decks, none of it is always happy sunshine, okay? But it can be interpreted differently during the reading, okay? So if I'm asking for advice, if I'm asking for information, if I say, what about this situation am I missing when I'm talking to the angels? They'll say, well, there's some deceit going on there somewhere. Or you're deceiving yourself about what is happening. So it's not necessarily, when you see that card, you're not like, oh God, what's going on, right? It's advice. It's information you need to know. It's bringing it to light, and most likely something you already knew. And they're just acknowledging it for you and saying, yeah, you're right. You see that deceit. You know something's not right. So pay attention to it. Okay. Tarot is not meant to predict your life or tell you what direction to go in. Okay. Tarot is meant to give you messages that you can either choose or choose not to listen to, and that you can, that generally will wake you up to something you already knew. Okay. But if spirit wants to tell you something, this may be the way they get through to you. Okay. If you come across a reading and you're like, oh, yeah, that resonates for me. What's going on? Right? It's because they guided you that way. The wisdom deck. Okay. There's some controversy about this deck, which I don't understand. But the writer of this book, or this deck, the creator of this deck, asked people to pray over their deck, over their cards. Now, I don't see a problem with that. You know, you don't have to. It doesn't like click a light on for the deck and all of a sudden the deck starts to work, right? When I work with a deck, I meditate over a deck. Okay, so a meditation and a prayer are the same thing. They really are. So don't get your panties in a wad about it. It's actually a really nice deck. I like it a lot. It is a wisdom deck. There's quite a bit of, well, there's some general information in here about each one. Okay, it will help you be guided if you have questions about it, because some of them are a little bit abstract. So if you need to do that, for sure do that. But they are wisdom. It's advice. It's an advice deck. That's all it is. So again, they're nice cards. They flip out easily. They slip. They're a little bit slippy. Yeah, that's because they're more glossy than they are matte. But that's up to you. For me, again, I don't care. It really doesn't matter to me. The fire prints. Now, these ones can be read in a reverse as well. There's reversals in the book, but like I said, I don't do reversals. I don't see the necessity in doing reversals in oracle decks. Some people will do them for. Some people won't even do them in tarot. They won't even do reversals in tarot. If I get a card and it comes out, if I get an oracle card and it comes out, and I hear from spirit, read that one in reverse, then I will do that. But generally, I don't. The photographs are very pretty. It's well made. The cards are well made, and the information is it's easy to interpret in a way that is correct for the reading that you're doing. Okay. What's this one? The River Queen. Okay. So, and there's numbers on these. If I am a strong believer in angel numbers and paying attention to numbers that are repeating numbers and that sort of thing. That's probably why I like my Black Moon Astrology deck, because there's lots of numbers in there as well. And why I'm looking for sacred geometry, because of the numbers. So I always point out the numbers and say, you need to pay attention to these, pay attention to this number, what is happening around you when it happens, and that sort of thing. Because remember, this is the wisdom deck, and so it's about advice. Okay, so that's that one. boy, oh boy, I have a lot of stuff. But we will move on to, very quickly, I'm going to run through next my, where should we go? Okay, affirmation decks. So I didn't realize how many of them I had, but let's start here. I love this little deck. Okay, this is a beautiful little deck. If you want to put it in your bag, put it in your purse, keep it in your pocket, and carry it around with you. Put it on your nightstand, however you want to do it. It is adorable. I love this one so much. It is called the Garden. Yeah, it's called Secret Garden. Secret Garden. I just love it, and it's simple. It's got beautiful messages in it. It's easy to go ahead and shuffle out. They're sturdy. It's a sturdy little deck, and it's just a great way to sort of start your day, get you going, with beautiful little messages in it. Like this one is Bloom, and it says, oh, let me get the light over here, guys. Sorry. It says bloom and attract more than butterflies. Oh, bloom and attract more than butterflies. It's just a really beautiful, sweet little deck that, you know, you can keep for yourself and just use every day. And I just love this one. I think it was a brilliant idea. I think it was a brilliant creation, and I use it a lot because it's just very sweet. As a matter of fact, I keep this one sitting up here on my desk all the time. So if I need it, there it is. I love that one. Okay, and then we have, that's upside down. Boy, am I having a hard time seeing. Sorry, guys. There we go. Messages from the universe. This is a great deck as well. I'll be honest with you, I don't go to it very much, but it has really fun messages in it. It does have a book, but I don't think that that's really necessary. So just go for the cards themselves, because there actually is quite a bit of information in each one of these cards. They're a little bit larger, but then they have a lot of information on them. They're slick, but they're not super glossy, and they're just fun, really upbeat messages from the universe, and I love that. So you have more. Oh, you have more options than you realize. You have more options than you realize. And then on the back here is a little bit more information. And they're just very positive, loving messages from the universe. So I really enjoy these cards too. I enjoyed the sort of bright colors and the kind of fun things that they say. And it's all upbeat and positive, which is, of course, is what you want from an affirmation deck. And so, you know, it's something that you can go to if you need a little something extra, if you want a little something extra in your reading, if you're doing something that, you know, you want to end on a high, happy note, then, because sometimes, and especially with me, okay, I do not sugarcoat my readings. I don't do that. I certainly don't try and trigger people, but I do not sugarcoat what Spirit tells me. I do not try and interpret what they tell me to make it more, you know, shooting rainbows up your bum. Okay, so but I will sometimes finish with an affirmation deck, and this is a really good one too. If you want to keep that just for yourself, if you need a little something to hear for yourself every day, that's a really good one to do that with too. So messages from the universe. And then we have, this one is, You know what, this might actually, no, this is something different. I'm going to hold that off real quick. Actually, I will tell you about that now, but in just a minute, let's get through these first, okay? This one is adorable, okay? I don't go to it very much because I'm not into that sort of like really cutesy type affirmation decks, but it's very cute. It's very cute. So if, you know what, if you have a child who could use some affirmations every day, this is the deck for them. It's very cute. It's even kind of a little bit funny. They do little jokes in it, and so it is really, really sweet. And if you have a child who's maybe wants to get into reading tarot alongside her mom or dad, this is a great way to start them out with. It is called, where'd you go there? Let's see. Where are you? There it is. It's got a little unicorn on the front too, so that's exciting for them as well. Yeah, it's just affirmations. But it's just a very cute, very sweet, very kind of very, very upbeat, very sweet deck. And I think that if you have a kid that you want to get an affirmation deck for, and I think that that's an absolutely amazing idea, because I think kids, especially nowadays, could use something to give them a little boost every morning. Maybe put it next to their bed and let them read themselves, dole themselves out a little affirmation for themselves that day. I think that's beautiful. This really is a deck that if somebody came to me and said, you know, I want to get an oracle deck for my kids, I want to get something like that for them to get them started because they're very, very interested in it, this is the one to do it with, because, you know, it's got unicorns and dinosaurs, and it's just very, very cute. So I'll read one to you. This one is, okay, this one says, do that. Okay, so you can see it has like, you know, really cute little drawings, and very simple and very sweet, and really kind of funny. And it says, no need to do. I am exactly where I need to be. Exactly when I need to be here. There is nothing more that I need to do. I mean, yes, there will always be laundry, there will, and taxes, and okay, so it's a little bit more adult in some places, but there will always be laundry and taxes. I don't need to do anything because I'm already here. I take a deep breath, relax, and trust, and then and then I do the laundry. I take a deep breath and trust, and then I do the laundry. So sorry about that, guys. If you don't know me, I have a vision impairment, so I stumbled through that a little bit. But again, if anybody ever asked me what little affirmation deck I should get for my kids, it would be this one, because I think that I don't have any kids, but I was a preschool teacher for a very long time, and I love kids, and I love helping kids, and I love affirming kids, and just the way they are and who they are, and this little deck is perfect for that. So I don't pull it out very often. It's very cute. They even have little jokes in them in some places, so I would suggest that to you for that purpose. So that one is really sweet. Okay, let's move on. And then I have this deck, which I absolutely love too. I love these cards. They're just really beautiful. And the case is beautiful, except I wish that it had folded over and had a magnet on it, because they can go wonky and sort of fly away from me, get away from me sometimes in where I store them. But they're perfectly square. They're easy to work with. They're not too big. And they are not matte, but they're not super glossy, shiny. But they do also have really beautiful affirmations in them as well. And this one is called This is the heart thoughts. Heart thoughts. So let's see what we have here. Let's pull one of these out. What do you say? And these ones are also double-sided as well. So this one is unlimited potential. On this side, so it's unlimited potential. And then there's more information on the other side. And this one says, I trust myself to create only that which is for my higher good and greatest joy. That which is perfect for my spirit, for my spiritual growth and evolution. That which is perfect for my spiritual growth and evolution. So the cards are just beautiful. The messages are beautiful. Again, if you want an affirmation deck just for yourself, that's a really beautiful one. I wish the packaging was a little bit different so that they were easier to maintain, but still it's a hard cover and really beautiful messages. So that's a lovely one. I really like that one as well. I use that one quite a bit. And finally, now this is not an affirmation deck. This is a little something different. In fact, this is not considered an oracle or a tarot deck. This, I was inspired to buy because I thought it would be very, very interesting for pick-a-cards. And it's from the game called Rethink. And it's a game that you could use as a party game. Okay, you bring it out in parties and you ask the question and people answer. They pull a card and they answer the question. And they're separated out into separate groups. Some of them are, let's turn this over here. You have compassion questions. You have, let's see, what's this one? This one is insight. There's actually 4 or 5 different ones, okay? And so when you pull them out, when I pull them out for my readings, it has a question on it and you have to answer the question. Now, how does that work in a tarot reading? Well, it's asking you to sort of deep delve into your intuition, which is what we're about here, okay? It's helping you to grow your intuition. And one of the reasons why we do the Coffe Grounds, okay? And so I was really inspired to get this one, and I've done a couple of them. I have one scheduled here in another couple of weeks. But the questions are very interesting because some are insight, some are about compassion. I'll read you this one about compassion. The question is, how do you show people you care about? How do you show people you care about them? How do you show people you care about them? So that is just a way of sitting back into your intuition and thinking about that. And it can also reflect on, am I doing enough? Am I doing more than they do for me? Is that person that I care about really helping? Are they really a part of my spiritual growth or not? If the answer is yes, then am I showing them enough gratitude? Very important. So I really enjoy these, and that's why I bought them. So again, they're not oracle or tarot cards. They're just something that it was just very interesting to me, and I thought this could really help to grow people's intuition and could help us in what this channel is all about, and that is helping you to grow you spiritually. So it's fun. There's a couple of them in there if you want to go ahead and look at them, and pick a deck or pick a pile and see how that works for you, and see how you answer those questions, because I'd love to hear the answer to that as well. Okay, so those are my affirmation decks. Now we're going to move into love. Now, I do not do love readings, but I do have some because I do them every Valentine's Day, because the vibration of love is very high at Valentine's Day. So I will do one really big one on Valentine's Day. So of course, every now and then love always pops into one of my readings, and I can't help that. But I don't specifically ask for them very often. So we'll do that next. Okay, let's talk love. I get asked this all the time. Why don't you do love readings? And I don't do love readings for a very specific reason. Because I truly believe that until you love yourself, you will never bring the person that is right for you into your life. Okay? Which is why what we do here is about you. Is about growing you spiritually. Okay? So, the first one we have here, it's a small deck. Yeah, this one was a gift that I got with a separate, with a tarot deck that I got. And so I didn't actually pick this one. It came to me as a gift. And it's Manifest Your Soulmate Oracle cards. Now, can you manifest your soulmate through an oracle card? No, sir or ma'am, you cannot. Okay? But what you can do with this is maybe recognize in yourself what you need to change, recognize in yourself what you're actually looking for, recognize in yourself what you already know, okay? So I will probably use this come February, but not before that. It's an okay deck. It's a very small one. Again, like I said, it was free. And the cards are okay. They're sort of matte. They're a little bit glossy, but sort of matte. And they have very positive information on them. This one, what does it say? Yes, see, I don't love this because of the writing on it. Is not very clear. Not my favorite. As my sister-in-law would say. My very polite Brazilian sister-in-law would never say, I hate that. She only says, it's not my favorite. Okay, this one says, you are on your way to meeting your true love. You are on your way to meeting your true love. Now, can a tarot card tell you that? No. Okay. But what they can do is open your eyes. Open your eyes to what you already know. Remind you of what you already know. Remind you that, well, you're on your way, but maybe you're not there yet, that you need to do some work for yourself. I truly believe that the universe cannot bring to you the person that you need, the person that is right for you, your soulmate, okay? They cannot bring that person to you. They cannot match that soul to you if you do not love yourself first. You can find somebody for sure, but are they going to be right for you? Maybe they'll be right for you in the way that you are right now, okay? But to find someone who is a soulmate, you really have to work on you. And that is the whole point of this channel and why I don't do them. Now, there are lots of tarot readers out there who will do them day in and day out. And there is nothing wrong with that, okay? But don't get sucked into watching them constantly, because all you'll get is confused. Worry about you, and then the universe can bring you what you need, okay? When you are in the right place, the very right person who's been looking for you too, because there's somebody out there looking for you, will find their way to you, okay? Now this deck is, where are we here? I think this is the Angel Love Messages. Yeah. Yes. Romance, sorry. This is the romance deck. Okay. So, again, it's a smaller deck. This one I did purchase. This one I have used before. This one has a positive message to it. It does have foil on the edges, so it's a pretty nice card. It's very glossy. They're more glossy, but I don't seem to have any problem with that because they don't stick together. Sometimes what will happen with a more glossy deck is that they can end up sticking together, but we'll read one of these. What do you say? This one, you are lovable. So really they're affirmations. Okay, so if you get this in your reading and it says you are lovable, okay. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's more of an affirmation that you are a lovable human being and that that is something you need to focus on more than an individual is telling you you are lovable, okay, or your person is telling you that you are lovable. If this card comes out, it is more of an affirmation for you to say, yes, I am. Yes, I am, and know it, okay, and embrace it. That is how I do my love readings, is that if it comes out, you are lovable, it's because you need to know and understand that you are, okay? Well, check out one more here. This one says, the time has come to clear. The time has come to clear your energies. Okay. Again, I think the reason that I chose this one is that it is much more about you and not about them. Okay, whoever this potential person is, or somebody you're already in a relationship with. It is more about you clearing your energies, your love energies, your vibrations of love. Okay, so that it can come into you. Okay, so these are very much more about you than anything else, which is probably why I chose it. Because that is the way we go here. So, and listen, I get this a lot. You are brutally honest, Christine. You tell it like it is. I do. I do not sugarcoat or tell you what you don't need to know. Okay? I tell you what Spirit wants you to know, what the cards say, how it is, and what you need to understand. Now, I bought these cards, and I swear they drive me bananas. They are heart-shaped, and they are just a nightmare. But they're good cards. They're good cards. They're just the shape of them. I would not do it again. And I actually bought two of them. Two heart-shaped decks. They're very, very hard to look. They're hard to line up. They're a little more difficult to shuffle because of that. Okay. It's not impossible, but they're not that easy. Okay. As you can see. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle. I won't buy this sort of shaped card like this again. But the messages are very good. And it is perfect for a Valentine's Day reading, which is why I got them. So let's see. This one says, let's see, are they front and back? I think, no. Okay. This one says action. So at the top, they will tell you what you need to take action with, okay? And this says, drop all, difficult to read, drop all fear and just do it. Drop all fear and just do it, okay? Drop all fear and just do it. Oh. Love is the power. Love is the power to create and be however you Sorry guys, hang on. Your heart and alone, positive attention to those things. Nothing can stop you except your own fears. Nothing can stop you except your own fears. See, and they're difficult to read. They're difficult for me to read, which is something else that I struggle with. Of course, you guys know that I have vision impairment. So generally when I buy cards, if I can't necessarily see them very well, I kind of shy away from them. Or if the writing is a little bit odd on them, I will shy away from them. But that's not to deter you from them. Because the reason that I got these, even though they're a little bit more difficult for me to read, is because they're sort of positive, working on yourself type love cards, okay? And how to bring in the love that you want or the relationship that you're looking for. And that is by working on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you know, you want someone who reflects you. And if you're not, reflecting in a positive way about yourself, that's who you're going to bring into your life. Okay. So if you're looking for someone, and this is not something that it comes from a tarot reader or from, this is just life, right? Depending upon the situation or the world that you're in right now, or the life that you're living right now, that's what you're going to get back, right? So if you're not speaking to yourself in a way that is positive, I am this, I am that, I am great, I am wonderful, I am lovable, okay? I am someone who deserves love. I have to take action to prove that to myself. Well, then that's what you're going to get in return, right? I say this often. The universe is like a dome. It echoes what you say in it. So if you are constantly saying, I'm not lovable, that's what you're going to get in return. So take action against that, and you'll get what you need. Okay, so you can watch as many love readings as you want, okay? But if you're not in that place that you are open to accepting that truth, it's not ever going to resonate for you, and you're going to go around and around and around and around. You're just going to end up getting confused, okay? Believe me, I understand. I understand those readings, and I understand that they're very helpful to some people, very, very helpful to some people, but I don't want people to get into that, stuck in that loop, and that's really why I don't do it. So I'm going to try and figure out how to get these back in the box. And we'll move on to the next and last one. As you can see, I do not have that many of them. And I'll work on trying to get that back in the box in a minute. And these cards are even bigger hearts. They make for a very cute Valentine's Day reading, but a very annoying trying to package them up. So they're even larger, so they are still even a little bit more difficult to shuffle out. So now this, I don't show this very often. I did this in my last pick a card. Sometimes I will be doing a reading and it won't come out, and it won't come out, and it won't come out, and I will make a deal with Spirit. Hey, listen, I'm going to split these into 3. Like if I have 3 piles, I'll say, hey, I'm going to look at this. See this? The cards are stuck in the box. So the packaging on these is not great. It's not my favorite, as my sister-in-law would say. So what will happen is, if I'm really struggling to get a card to come out, I will make a deal with Spirit. Listen, I'm going to take this deck. I've shuffled it and shuffled it and shuffled it. I've got 3. I'm going to do 3 piles. What I'll do is break it, and break it. And that top card will be the one that will go on that pile. And that top card will be the one that goes on that pile. And like that. So all tarot readers do it a little differently. Some will spread the cards all the way out and just pull randomly. Some will wait until they shuffle out. Some will take cards that flip. Some will take cards that just feel right in their hand as they're shuffling. I do all of those, except for I don't do a spread like this. A lot of readers will do a spread like this and then just pull. I don't do that. But however I feel it coming out and whatever works for me, most of the time I take cards that fly. So these are all different colors, as you can see. So they're pretty cards. And let's read one of these to you. So the imagery on them is really pretty as well. Front and back. Okay. This one says, reflection, give each other some space. Trust, I have faith that all will work out, or for the best. So some of these cards, of course, are about relationships that you're already in. Maybe some guidance as to what you need to do. Maybe step back and say, I trust you. I trust that this is all going to work out. I trust in myself and I trust in you. That's the message of this one, is reflect upon your relationships. So they're not always about, oh, you're going to be in love forever and it's never going to stop and this is the absolute perfect person you're with right now, because that's rare, right? Especially if you're out there looking for a love reading, okay? You know, you're not one, either found that person, or two, in a perfect place, right? So these are very much advice cards as to what you need to do to sort of reflect on what's happening in your relationship and that sort of thing. And they're more guidance cards, and I think that's why I was drawn to them, is to give guidance more than give you a fluff up that the one for you is right around the corner, okay? That sort of thing. I'm just not big into that at all. I know that they're incredibly popular on YouTube, but I just don't do it because I don't think it's right for you guys. But that's me. You do what you gotta do. Okay. Finally, I'm going to jump into tarot and my absolute favorite decks here at the end. Okay. Be right back. Tarot decks. I do not have a lot of tarot decks. I find the ones that I enjoy the most, I stick with repeatedly. Okay. But this one, Everyday Tarot. Adorable. I love it. I think there's a bigger version of this, but this is, if you want to put a tarot deck in your bag, this is the one for you. Okay. Let me get that out of the packaging there. So it comes like this, little fold over, stick it in your bag, take your tarot deck with you. And let me show you these cards. Comes with a book if you need it, because oftentimes tarot decks will interpret a little bit differently. So, and this one does just a little bit. Okay. So the Everyday Tarot, you probably heard a lot of people talking about this one. Now there's, like I said, there's full size, and then there's this little mini one. And I really like this little mini one because it's something you can take with you. It's easy to shuffle and they're easy to read. Now, what I like about these cards is that, well, one, the design is different, right? The design is unique, but the same at the same time. But the people that you have within the cards, let me try and find it here, will be of different skin types. Okay. And I love that about this because you will have, it gives you the ability to say, well, this person that you're going to meet may look differently than you. Okay. This person that you are going to be in a relationship may look differently than you or come from a different place than you. And that I love. I love that about this deck. So in that, it's very unique and it's very sort of abstract, but it has the same information there. You can see there. I love that it interprets, it includes all different types of people from different places and different ethnicities and that sort of thing, and can help you to guide somebody along the way and say, well, this person is going to be in this way and going to look this way. Okay. I believe with this deck, you can also do yes, no questions. I'd have to look into that. I can't remember correctly, but it's just a very sweet little deck that you can keep in your purse and carry around with you anytime you need. And the people in it are look different, and you can interpret it in different ways, and it's inclusive to all peoples. And I really, really enjoy that about this deck. I think that's so clever, and it's so smart, and it's so lovely and inclusive to everybody, that it's important that you have that, because you don't just read to people who look like you, right? And you don't just read to people who think like you. And so that I think it's vitally important. And so I really do love this deck because of that. Okay. See, lovely. Okay. So the Everyday Tarot, one of my favorites. Really like that one a lot. So if you're looking for a little one to just carry around with you, that's the one to go for. And again, you can get it in the larger size if you wanted to. Okay. And it has a little magnetic closure, and it comes with a little plastic. So it's sturdy in case you want to throw it in the bottom of your bag and it gets bumped around. It's going to be okay. Oh, sorry about that, guys. This one. This is really traditional Rider-Waite, but it has a very unique looking back on it, which kind of drew me to it. I'll be honest with you, Rider Waite has never been, ooh, I got to have me one of those. Okay. So I know it's the traditional. I know that that's how it started. I know that that's what people really enjoy, you know, what they think of when they think of traditional tarot. Okay. But it never really, I don't know what it is, but it never really did. But I learned my great grandmother used playing cards. So you can really learn from anything. Okay. So the backs of the cards, there's the little booklet. It's very small, and the booklet runs backwards. Okay. So you're sort of reading left to right instead of right to left, or yeah, right to left, excuse me. So, but it's just a little book. So I like it because I like the back on it. Now, these cards are very textured. They're very, 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 very matte. Okay. So you won't, they're not super slippery because the back side is very matte, but the front side is smooth, very smooth. So it is traditional Rider Waite. It is traditional tarot, but I like it because it has the sort of black and gold back on it. So that's why I purchased it. The only thing that I think I would, well, the edges are a little bit more squared off than what I would like. Yeah, they're rounded, but not very much. So I have bent the corners on those, and I have not even had this deck for very long. So I think I might change a little bit about it. The paper is not super thick to be able to withstand corners being bent and that sort of thing. But it's a nice deck. It is. And I'm glad that I got it as a traditional Rider Waite. But with a little spin, because I like the back of these as well. So there we go. Two of Cups, of course, is the one that pops right out, since we were just talking about love. So it's very traditional on the front. Oop. And I like the darkness of it on the back with the gold. That's what drew me to it. You know what? A traditional tarot deck is so personal to you. Use whatever comes to you. Use whatever feels right to you. The box is good. The box is heavy. You know, I appreciate that very much because, like I said, I keep all of my tarot and oracle cards within their boxes. I don't remove them from them. So that's not super exciting, but you know what? I liked it. Okay. This one, you will see me use a lot. I love this. Now, you might have remembered because I said earlier that I really like bright colors, and we got bright colors. This deck is really lovely, and I love the texture of it. It's textured, and so it's not matte and it's not gloss, but it is textured. So it does slip and slide, which for me, that's okay because I take cards that flip. Okay. And so that's important to me. I like that a lot. And who did this one? This is Tarot of the Divine, a deck of guidance and guidebook, of course. Tarot of the Divine. Who made this? Okay, where's the author? I'll put it down below, guys. I can't remember. Okay, moving on. These cards are vibrant in their colors. They are really, I just love this deck. I think because it has on the back, the chakras, I think that's what drew me to it in the first place. But the colors and the vibrancy of these cards, I love it. And I use it so much. And it just works right for me. The size is good. The way that it shuffles out is great. I really enjoy this deck a lot. I would recommend it. I've talked to a whole bunch of people who have this deck and they just love it. And I think, especially if you're a reader that really hones in on the photographs or the pictures or the paintings or the colors, that this can be very, very important to you. And so when you're looking at, the World card came out, look at how vibrant it is. And I just love vibrant colored cards. And so when I found this tarot deck, I was like, that's the one for me. So I use this a lot. You will see it a lot in my decks. I think that it's really well made. The cards are really well made. The box that it comes in is really well made. And the book, if you need it, is really well made as well. It has the string, of course, so you can stick that in there and keep them all in line and easily remove them from the box. And then the box, of course, will protect your cards forever if you don't accidentally drop one on the ground and run it over with your chair, which I have done. But lucky for me, it really flattened out well. So I would strongly recommend this one. If a vibrant tarot deck is what you're looking for, that's the one for you. Okay, so lastly, I'll be right back, and we're going to talk about my absolute favorite decks, and I would buy anything that she makes, anything. I'll be right back. So, Kim Kranz, I will buy anything that this lady makes. I love, love, love her interpretation of her decks. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot. This is the book. I am in love with it. Now, why? The cards, the box, first of all, look at the box, okay? Beautiful. Beautifully made, beautifully kept, and it is a box within a box. These cards will stay for a very long time. Now, they're not inexpensive, okay? But they are worth the money every time. Now, our cards are matte, but they slide easily. They never stick, and they just shuffle out beautifully. I love them so much. Now, the unique thing about the Wild Unknown Tarot is her interpretations. The book is beautiful, okay? The book will tell you in great detail, almost a story of why you interpret it this way, of why these things can happen, of why it is that the Five of Swords is not good, the Six of Swords is, but why, okay? And sort of the gradient of which cards are better and which ones don't you want, but here's the way that this can become a better situation, and here's the way, and there's notes along the sides, and it's just amazing. I just love it so much. And she has such a unique, okay, ability to tell the stories of the cards and how she has interpreted them. It's just a beautiful book. It's a beautiful deck. I use it all the time. Now, in these, I will use these decks if I am specifically doing a reading for families. And why is that? Okay, because the court cards, which would be the Page, the Knight, the King, the Queen, right? Well, the Page is the daughter, okay? So let's say she's the daughter of Wands. Who's this? This is the Father of Cups, okay? The Father of Cups, which would be in traditional tarot, the King of Cups. See how beautiful it is? The swan, gorgeous. The Queen is the Mother of Cups. The Knight is the Son of Cups, and the Page is the Daughter of Cups. So I will use this very specifically if I am doing a family reading. Now I will use it, period, because I love it so much. But if I am doing a family reading, a family type reading, if the querent has questions about my family, how are they doing? My family is going in this direction. I'm having trouble with this. And if it is specific to family, I will use this deck. Now, at the same time, she has definitions within each one. Wands, swords, cups, pentacles, of what that individual may look like. Okay? So you really need to read the book in depth, okay? Because if I'm remembering right, the swords are somebody who's fair-skinned and fair-haired. The swords are somebody who is dark-haired, but fair-skinned. Pentacles could be, I can't remember exactly. I have to look it up again. But when you're using this deck, okay, and you're going into that sort of depth, and they have a question, my daughter is dating this person. I don't know anything about them. Can you tell me about them? Well, they look like this. They act like this. They could be this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these cards are beautifully made. The design is beautiful and unique. The swans, the butterflies, the pentacles are coins, of course, in here. And it's just magnificent how she puts these together in a way that is so unique that it can bring out so much more information, not just about any questions they may have, but about the people, about the individual, about this is about your daughter. If you get 2 daughter cards, do you have 2 girls? Do you see what I'm saying? That there is so much to these cards that they can offer to you as a reader that it's incredible. I just love her books. I love her cards. I love the way she interprets. I love the little side information that she puts in there. You know, little scribbles along the sides of the of each one of the cards and additional information. She of course has reversals in here, but it's the overall story kind of lets you fall in line with what it is and know for yourself, okay, and understand it in its whole. And they're just beautiful. I cannot recommend these enough. If you are a professional reader, you should absolutely have this deck. If you are an advanced reader who reads for themselves or their friends or family, that kind of thing, absolutely buy it. It is, yes, it is more expensive. I will give you that. But it is well worth the money. Well worth the money, my friend. Because this is something that will be around for a very long time, because it is so well packaged and so well made that you can keep that for a very long time. And if you keep it in the box, and you keep them all together, it's really beautiful. And just reading the book itself is a lovely afternoon of reading. Of course, interpret any way you wish, but it is just outstanding. I just love it. So, okay. And then also from Kim Kranz. Look, come here. Okay. This is the Animal Oracle deck. Yes. Yeah. This is the Animal Spirit deck. Now, I used this last week in my readings. Again, Kim Kranz. Again, a magnificent book. Now, she has this broken out by earth, air, fire, and water. So each one of the animals will come into one of those, right? And it's pretty obvious once you find it, right? That fish, of course, are going to be within the water. And let's find you one here. Which ones are air, which ones are water, birds, of course, and that sort of thing. But in the back is actual spirit, okay? Let me find it here for you. Yeah, well, here, you can see vulture is in air, okay? Fire ants would be in fire. I'm sorry, I keep knocking the camera, guys, sorry. So let's go to the very back here. I did pull one of this in the back is just spirit, okay, and these are spirit animal only, right? They're not animals that you'll find here on earth, okay? So let's go here. So you have black egg, okay, that's the spirit. You also have the phoenix, which of course is spirit. It's not an animal that you would find in nature, right? It never was. It's mythology, okay? But black egg, I'll just read this to you real quick. I'll just read the top of it. It says, the black egg contains a treasure, the truth. Inside confusion, excesses, small talk, noise, or lies. So the black egg is the bringer of clarity, right? Will clarify, bring you what's hidden from you, much like the crow. Very interesting. But there's also cosmic egg, and it's just very, very, very unique. And I really enjoy these so much. And so it's not just a spirit animal book, but it's actual spirit. Okay. And with very, very unique interpretations. Of course, you can take it as you will, as you can with any other deck. But again, you know, her cards are not super vibrant. Okay, you're not going to find that, but they are just beautifully done. And there, beautiful, really beautiful cards, simple and easy to understand. And her book is amazing, and our cards are all the same size, and you can see when it's air, and you can see when it's, so I love that it's the animals are interpreted to the elements as well. And there's quite a few cards here. Of course, there's not every spirit animal here, but the way that she explains them is just amazing. And it's a lovely read. It's a lovely read if you want to just sit back and read the book for a while too. Is just really the way that she interprets. Here's Cobra. We got that last week. The way that she interprets the animals. Now, here's the thing. You can go on Google and find 50 different answers as to what the spirit animal this means and what the spirit animal that means. The only thing that matters is the reading that you're doing at the moment with the card that you're doing at the moment. Okay? Because that's where the message is going to lie. And I just love her stuff. It's just so amazing. She's so unique. And I think well worth the money, because you can get the most amazing readings from her cards. And that's the goal, right? So that is spirit animal. Put that back in here. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't need to keep bumping that. Okay. You know, with the ribbons, so it's easy to pull them out again, and a box within a box within a box, and it's just always going to be safe and well kept. And that's the beauty part of her boxes as well. Yeah, they're a little bit more money, but very much worth it. Now, we talked about archetype decks. I showed you the one that I had, and I said I had another one. She's also done an archetype deck, and I love this. Like I said, she does the most unique stuff. Again, beautiful box, magnetic closure. Beautiful book, lots of information, absolutely stunning. Yeah, this is the archetype one. Absolutely stunning, beautiful. Information is in depth. The information in this, she had to have channeled this information from the archetype. Okay, she had to have, because the definitions here, of course, like I said, an archetype is not going to be dictionary. Okay, it's going to be interpreted by the one who is the seer of it. Okay, so she's got that in here as how she's interpreted these definitions of these archetypes. Let me show you the cards. Even more unique. They're round. It's hard. It's like, it's not wood, but it is very hard cardboard. Again, round cards. Now, when I say these are difficult to shuffle, I ain't kidding, okay? One, because they're large, and two, because I have little hands, but they're round, okay? So it will take me some time sometimes to get the card out the right way. But I just take my time with it because they are so worth it, okay? They are so beautiful, and they're so unique that it can be, when you are a reader, so vitally important that the cards inspire you, okay? That they hit in your intuition, okay? So here we go. This one is Pilgrim. This one is they're Roman numerals, so polish up on that before you start. Let's see, this one is Anima. Now, these cards are separated out by location, by emotion, by it's just it is a very in-depth book, so you will need to read the book, and you will need to then go through all of the cards and to try and really understand where they come from and where they're going to, because if you get the Mountain card, it will be either that you need to journey or that you need to journey inside. Do you understand that this is a journey that you're on, and you're headed towards the mountaintop, and that's what you're trying to do, and it's recognizing that. The Temple card can be interpreted in many different ways, right? Because this is an archetype, okay? And so it will definitely be associated to whatever your reading is, okay? You can get the Village card, okay? And the Village, depending on the reading, can say, you are the center of your village, and people come to you and they look to you for information, and people love you, and that's right. At the same time, the Village card in a different reading that I did once was you can't go home again, okay? You're looking to go home again, and you can't. You can't go back to your village. Either one, you're not welcome there, or two, it's not the right choice for you. So they can be interpreted in many different ways, okay? So that's what an archetype is the interpretation of the seer, of the knower, of the user, of the one that is seeing that archetype. So that it's very unique in that it can be interpreted in so many ways, which is beautiful, because if you're really doing a deep delve into a reading, and you're really trying to understand something for someone, you're really trying to get to know them, especially if I'm doing a past life reading, that is absolutely necessary. I use it quite a bit. So that is my collection. More to come in the future, I'm sure, because I am always on the hunt for more. I would love to hear from you if you know of something, right? If you know of something that you want to hear from, if you know someone that a deck that I should know about, something I should see about, if you have any questions about them, or something you want to suggest to me, I'm open ears. I can't wait to hear about it. If you have any ideas about any of the decks I showed you, if you like them, hate them, I'd like to know about that too. Maybe you can tell me why, and maybe I can look in a different direction or something. So thank you for joining me. I know this took forever, but there's a lot there, and I wanted to share them all with you in the way that I actually use them. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope I get to see you again soon, and I will see you on Thursday for Pick a Card. Bye.